Nobody's looking at this the way I'm looking at this. Colorado's athletic director is looking like a genius at this point in time. I guarantee you wherever he's at, he's sitting back, licking his chops, and he's smiling ear to ear because he looks like a flat-out genius. He looks like the second coming of Albert Einstein. Another night. Say it with me now. I'll give you a second to get ready. Another primetime video. Another night, another primetime video. Let's get into it. The word of this video and the word of today is dominate. Dominate, dominate, dominate in any and every aspect of your life. That has nothing to do with this video. I just wanted to share it with you guys because yes, although you're here for entertainment, you're here to talk about football. I mean, that is the main purpose of this channel. I also want everybody a part of our community striving for greatness. I don't want to get too inspirational on you guys because I don't want to sound corny, but a lot of people in this life, they think to achieve greatness, you got to do something special, but in reality, you just got to win the day. And after a long weekend, that can be hard to do. That's why Mondays are my favorite day because while everybody's lounging around, they're chilling, giving it 50%, that's when I'm going to get my step up on people. And I hope you guys do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I know a bunch of you watching this, you do the same thing. I wish I could sit up here and say if you want to get ahead in this life, you got to have some secret sauce, but there is no secret sauce. You just got to work hard. That's enough of motivational, Matt. Getting on topic with tonight's video, not in last night's video, but the night before, what do we talk about? Colorado's ridiculous ticket prices. On average for the Nebraska game, they are charging $500 a piece for the tickets. We've already talked a little bit about that, but we're going to piggyback off of that situation in tonight's video, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And oh yeah, I can't forget to mention, throw in there, in last night's video, I said, hey, if we can get the video to 900 likes, we'll post another primetime video tomorrow night, which is right now, and we got over 2,000 likes. I'm going to say that number again. 2,000 likes. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal because as much as I like to give credit and recognition to college football teams when it's deserved, this also needs a lot of credit and recognition as well. I can't emphasize enough how special our college football community is on this channel and how strong it is. We got a heck of a community. I'm so proud to be a part of a community like this, and I hope you guys are as well. But diving a little bit deeper into things, our Colorado fan base, our Colorado community, people just tune into the videos, it's on a whole nother level. What did I tell you guys in last night's video? Hey, I don't want to burn you guys out too much, so if we don't reach the like goal, that lets me know you're getting a little burnt out on Colorado content. But from what I can tell, you guys aren't burnt out a single bit. You're loving every single second of it. Therefore, you already know this. I'm a fan of the people, and I'm going to give the people what they want. So to all the people out there saying, Matt, quit making Colorado videos. Matt, why are we making so many Deion Sanders videos? Well, you can take that up with the people in the comment section. The vast majority of people, they want to see it. Men lie and women lie, but guess what? Numbers never lie. 2,000 likes in one day, yeah, it goes to prove to me they want more Colorado content. Simple. Alright, I do apologize. This intro's already been way too long. Did want to show some love to my Colorado fans. Shout out to all y'all. Alright, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. So here's what I want to touch on in tonight's video. When Colorado's athletic director, he decided to hire Deion Sanders, it was a risk. It really was. To me, at least, I don't think it's a risk, and I'll explain why in just a second. But to the rest of the country, I mean, you're paying a guy who hasn't coached at a high level, at least, you know, when it comes to the Power 5 conferences, $5.5 million. This isn't SEC or Big Ten money. This is Pac-12 money. $5.5 million for a Pac-12 head coach and Deion Sanders. Yeah, that's quite a bit of money. It's also considered quite a bit of money when Colorado doesn't generate a lot of money. We're not talking about USC. We're not talking about Oregon. We're not talking about teams that have fans coming to the games all the time. We're talking about Colorado. This is the same team, guys, let me remind you, that had to give out free tickets last year to the spring game. 2,000. They only had 2,000 people show up, and it was free. Fast forward in time a year later, they sold out. They didn't give away tickets, they sold out. Do what you please with that information. Now, we talked all about that, 2 nights ago. And I broke this down to you guys. The most expensive game against Nebraska, they are hosting that game. The average ticket is going around $500. That is just for a semi-decent to a good seat. That's not even the best seat. So I said, hey, let's break it down. Colorado Stadium, they hold about 50,000 people, and let's say the average ticket price is $500. Well, we already did the math. That is $25 million. I'm going to say that again. $25 million of revenue. Now, I didn't elaborate on that, but in tonight's video, I'm going to do just that. Mike Mason said, great info, but $25 million a game, now that's some crazy revenue, and you're correct. Under that comment, Wolverine77, by the way, he's always commenting on the videos. I greatly appreciate it. Your support doesn't go unnoticed. I see you all the time. He said, that is not profit. That is just revenue before taxes, utilities, maintenance, concessions, etc., etc. And he's right. This is projected, by the way, but the $25 million estimated revenue that Colorado is going to make from that Nebraska game from ticket sales, that is revenue. That's why I said revenue. I didn't say profit. I'm not going to break it down and be a complete nerd, but you got to think about it. They got to pay all the employees, got to pay, to keep the field in shape, the irrigation system. There's so many things you got to pay for. You're not going to even profit $15 million. From ticket sales alone, I would guess, and this is my best guess, out of that $25 million you may profit around $5 to $6 million. That's still a lot of money, though. That's a good number to go off of. We'll just say after you pay everybody and all the utilities, fees, etc., you're going to make 5 out of that 25, which still isn't bad. But here's another part of this I didn't bring up. That's just ticket sales. This does not count parking, which at bare minimum, you'll probably make around at least a couple million from that. Or maybe not a couple million, but you might make $800,000 to $1.5 million, depending on how the parking situation is in Colorado. I've never been to a game there. I'm not too sure if the school has places you can park or if they let somebody else do it. But that's not where you're going to make a ton of your money from. Here's what you're really going to make your money from outside the ticket sales. We're talking about concession stands. The return of investment on concession stands inside the stadiums, it's at an all-time high. I don't know what it's like at Colorado, but if you go to an Alabama game, if you want a hot dog, you're spending about $7, $8. You want a bottled water, you're spending about $7, $6. Same thing for a Diet Coke. If you want some popcorn, you're spending $10. I would like to assume it is relatively the same thing as Colorado. I haven't been to a game, so I can't speak on it for sure. Well, you got to think about this. How much does it cost Colorado or Alabama, whoever, to get a bottle of water into the stadium? Maybe 6 cents, 10 cents, something around that price range. They're buying this crap in bulk. So I'd say a bottled water is about 10 cents for them, and they're selling it for $6 a pop. On nachos, hot dogs, everything they sell at a concession stand, they're marking it up about 600%. With 50,000 people in your stadium, I'd be willing to bet you're going to make at bare minimum, I don't know, what's a good number? We'll say $5 million just from concession stands. That's just a quick guess. That's your revenue. Let's say out of that $5 million, worst case scenario, you profit $1.5 million. We'll say for concession stands and merchandise, you profit $2 million per home game. I think that's a more than fair number. Check on this comment from Hook. Folsom Stadium holds about $50K, like we stated. Account for season tickets, student section. Let's say average price is $200. That's $70 million a year. Coach Prime's salary is totally justified as long as he wins. I'm betting on Prime. $70 million, so let's break that down. Let's actually see if he's right. In this up-and-coming season, Colorado has 6 home games. That Nebraska game, they're going to make around $25 million, but that is the highest ticket prices for any game. Let's say these other 5 games they got, which they'll probably sell out, they only make about $15 million per game. Or a matter of fact, you know what? I'll go lower than that. Let's just say they make $10 million so we get a nice and even number. Let's do some simple math. You got 5 home games in which you make $10 million from ticket sales. That's $50 million. On top of that $25K you make from the Nebraska game, that's $75 million in ticket sales. This may get confusing, so stick with me here. I'm trying to dumb this down the best way I can so you can understand it. We're not talking about the Nebraska game. The 5 other home games in which you make $10 million from your ticket sales, let's say only $2 million of that is profit. 5 home games times $2 million. We can break that down. That's $10 million. That's just your 5 home games outside of Nebraska. Throwing that one in there, we'll say at bare minimum, you make $5 million profit. You're sitting at $15 million profit from tickets. And then on top of that, you throw in the concessions and merch from every single home game. You're looking about at bare minimum, Colorado's going to make in profit, not revenue, and profit about $25 million this year. And that's worst case scenario. And remember, I'm not even counting the merch sales up to this point and the spring game tickets they sold. So with all that being said, and trust me, I know it was a lot to take in, Colorado at bare minimum is going to make $25 million in profit this year. Why is that a big deal? Because they're only paying Deion Sanders $5.5 million. Nobody's looking at this the way I'm looking at this. Colorado's athletic director is looking like a genius at this point in time. I guarantee you wherever he's at, he's sitting back, licking his chops, and he's smiling ear to ear because he looks like a flat-out genius. He looks like the second coming of Albert Einstein. Check out this comment from Mr. Smith here. Whatever the price, the game will be sold out. Win for Colorado, win for coach, and win for college football. I'm from Wisconsin, live in Florida. Great state, by the way. I go there every single year. But I'll be watching Colorado. I can't wait for the season. Another great example of people all over the country, they're going to be tuning into these games. I would actually be shocked if Colorado doesn't break records for how many people are going to be viewing their games all throughout the season. With all that great stuff being said, I can't find this comment. I don't know if I saw it on Twitter because people are tweeting at me all the time, sending me stuff on Instagram, and I look at the YouTube comment section every now and then. I lost it. I don't know where it went, but somebody said even if Deion Sanders goes 2-10 or goes 3-9, they're not even going to think about firing this guy anytime soon. Because you got to think about it. Within the next 2 or 3 years, even if Colorado doesn't win 5 games, they're not going to fire him because he's bringing in a crap ton of money. I haven't even thought about it like this, but let's say in the next 3 years, Coach Prime wets the bed, which I don't think will happen, but let's just say for the sake of this video, he wets the bed and can't even make a bowl game in the next 3 years. Would Colorado even think about firing him? Because think about this. Colorado's athletic director would be in a very tricky situation because some people would be calling for his job, but on the flip side, he's a cash cow. He's bringing in millions of dollars. And whether you guys like this or not, it doesn't matter if you like it. It's the harsh reality of 2023. Money runs the world. If you got a guy who's bringing in $40 million of profit to your university just from the football program, no, you're not going to fire him. It doesn't matter if he's going 0-40. I think Deion is more than this. Obviously, he's a great person, great role model, but he is a money-making machine. There is this aura, there is this swagger, there's this moxie about him where people can't get enough and they want to see more. And when people want to see more, what do? They come to the games, they buy the merch, and that just means more money for the university. And I think a lot of people fail to realize this. Only 2 sports for every university generate a profit every single year. It's college basketball, men's college basketball, and football. That's it. Every other sport for every single university, it actually loses money. The reason your university can have a lacrosse team, have a swimming team, have a softball team is because of football. I don't know if Colorado expected this to happen. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But they have already quadrupled up on their investment. They're up 500%. And here's the crazy part about this. If Deion starts winning some games he shouldn't be winning, if they start pulling off some upsets, the money is only going to continue to go up and up. The season hasn't even started and the athletic director has already hit a home run. And some people may try to argue and say, well, Matt, what if they go 0-12? Are you still going to feel that way? And yes, I am. You know why? Because they've already sold out. If they haven't already sold out, they will sell out every single one of their games. This is a win just from a financial standpoint for the university. This isn't an SEC school like Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, where it doesn't matter who's coaching, people are always going to show up to the games. No. If you don't have Deion Sanders, people aren't going to show up to the games. And if people aren't showing up to the games, you're not making money. That's why, to me at least, this is a big deal. Even if Deion Sanders doesn't perform up to expectations, the athletic director would never be fired just because he brought in so much money by bringing in Deion. And like I said in last night's video, Deion Sanders is heavily underpaid. I mean, think about it. Let me put this into a better perspective so some of y'all can relate. Wherever you work, imagine your boss, he hired you for 1 year and said, hey Billy Bob, I'm going to give you $6 million. It's actually 5.5. So we'll just say $5.5 million this year. That is a crap ton of money. You never have to work again. You'd be like, man, he's giving me $5.5 million. I can't believe it. This is awesome. I got the best job in the world. It's great on your end, right? But then you find out a year later, you made him $30 million that year. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's good you're giving Deion Sanders $5.5 million, but they're making $30 million. It's a very intriguing rabbit hole that we could continue to dive into. I mean, we're already deep into it. I'll leave it at this. Let me know your thoughts down below. But roll a minute.